Tutors and tutorials. There's all sorts of resources available to students at AWC. You got free tutoring at the in the Math Center, which is this very building. I started as a tutor myself many years ago. It is free as a private tutor. I was easily able to bring in $30-40 an hour several years ago. I could get much more than that now. If we were in Phoenix, where people are taking college courses that are going to lead to degrees that pay in the hundreds of thousands, I could get enormous amounts of money for tutoring. It is offered to you for free here at AWC. It is worth taking advantage of. You can go in there on a one-time basis, just walk in and get some help. You can set up an appointment, a recurring appointment, weekly, daily, whatever. They can work with you in groups or individually. It is to your advantage. There's also computer software available in the Student Success. Well, the Student Success Center does not exist anymore. I'm going to have to change my letter. There's computer software available in the tutoring center on the computers. They have lots of computers available for you there. There are videos available in the library. You can call me and ask me questions. One of your best resources is going to be you and your fellow classmates. You all are in the same situation here. You all either passed Math 81 or 82, or you got a placement exam score. All of you are in a very similar situation. You guys are going to be able to help each other out immensely. Forming a study group will be very helpful for you. So that's 5 resources available to you there. Free tutoring, computer software, videos, the professor, and a study group. 5 resources. If somebody somewhere along the line on a quiz or something, hint, 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 alarms should be going off, were to ask you, what are 5 resources that Professor Larson mentioned? You could tell them, well, there's tutoring, videos, the professor, the study group, and computer software. Correct? Okay. And then contacting me. You can talk to me before or after class. This is for brief exchanges. There's not a lot of time between classes, so we can talk briefly but not in depth. If you do want to talk in more depth, you can use the time before or after class to arrange a time to talk in more detail. If you don't need to talk to me in person, you can call me, you can email me. If you email me, be aware that I don't respond to my email immediately. I check my email a couple of times a week. I'm not a computer person. I like face-to-face. If I can't do face-to-face, I'll talk to you on the phone. Email is kind of a last-ditch effort for me. I am a texter now, so you can send text to me. Those are going to be more likely to get my attention than an email. But an email, I will respond to you as soon as I see it. Make sure that when you send me an email, you have in the subject line the information of your name, first and last, and your Math 122 and your section number, either 001 or 004. And the reason I require that is I get enormous amounts of junk mail, and I have to set my email filters to delete it all. So rather than trying to look for subject lines or people that I don't want to get email from, I look for the ones that I do want to get email from, and I save those and delete the rest. So if your subject line does not have your first and last name and Math 122-00, whatever your section number is, 001 or 004, my email system is going to say, hey, I have no idea who or what that is. I'm going to throw it away, and I won't even see it. So make sure that you have your subject line filled out properly according to that format. Also, you need to make sure it comes from an AWC account. I don't accept anything from any other account. Okay, it has to be an AWC email account. and that's for security reasons, and for some reason some email systems don't jive with ours very well, and we just get gibberish. So it has to be AWC email account. Okay. Or you can call me on the phone. If you just have to talk to me, you can call me on the phone. I always answer my phone. I do ask that you respect my time at home in the evenings and on the weekends, because in my mind the only reason to work is to make it possible to be at home with your family. So try to respect that. But if you have to talk to me, call me. Even if it is in the evening or the weekend, call me. Worst case scenario, I'm going to suggest, hey, maybe you could have waited for the next day for that. Maybe you could have waited till I saw you in class. I don't get mean, I don't get nasty, I don't get angry. Okay, but if you could respect my time at home, I'd appreciate that. So give me a call. I answer it unless I'm in church, a movie, or class. I answer the phone. Otherwise, you can leave me a voicemail, and I'll get back to you. That's it. That's my letter. Following you, thank you for choosing to take this course from me. I wish this to be a pleasant journey towards greater knowledge and deeper wisdom of both the material and thyself. Thy humble professor, the amazing Chris. If this is going over like it usually does when I take when I do this, used to do this in class, there's a couple of chuckles going on, and I never understood why people laugh. If you can call yourself anything you want, call yourself amazing. But this actually is my first assignment for you. I want you to come up with a name and title for yourself. I am the amazing Chris. You can be whoever or whatever you are or want to be. But come up with some sort of title that's going to represent something special about you. You're amazing. Well, no, I'm the only amazing. Otherwise, I'm going to have a classroom of amazings. So nobody gets to be amazing. But you could be terrific, fantastic. You could be terrible if you want. Use your imagination. Have a good time with that. But that makes it a little bit more interesting and fun when we have our conversations and do our introductions. And it also is going to help me learn names. So this is the grade chart I was referring to. Later in the semester, as we get closer to the end of the semester, we can talk about it in more detail. But I do want to point out a couple of things. The first column is your class grade, what you get after attendance and quizzes and tests and all that kind of stuff, homework. If you have an A in the class, and then you take a final, and let's say you get a D on the final, then I am going to look at the A and the D, and I'm going to adjust your course grade for your report card to be a C. That sounds reasonable to me. If you had an A and then you got a B, well, you went down a little bit, so I'm going to subtract 6% from your class grade, and that's going to put you at an A or a B. If you had a high A, you'd still be an A. If you had a low A, you'd be at a B. That seems reasonable to me. The only way that you can not pass the course, if you have an A in the course, is if you get an F on the final. You're going to end up with a D in the course, and that's not considered passing. Okay, so an A allows you to get anywhere from a 100% to a D on the final and still pass the course. Oops, that's kind of crazy. You can get like that. Well, you see the point. On the other hand, let's say you're a horrible student. You don't come to class, you don't do your homework, but you're pretty quick at gathering information that you hear or see. So maybe you're getting an F in the class, but you do really well at test and you got a B on the final. You're going to get a C in the course, which is considered passing. The reason I do this is because this is the kind of student I am. I am a horrible student. You will often find me in classes as a student, because I'm always taking classes here at AWC. And my students that are in class with me as a fellow student find it funny that I don't always come to class. I show up late when I do. I don't have a pencil sometimes. I don't always do my homework. I am, and always have been, and probably always will be, a horrible horrible student. But I listen well, I see things, and I take them in well, and I do amazing at tests. I love to take a test. I'd rather spend 20 minutes on a test than 2 hours at homework, personally. But that's just me. So I would be able to pass the class because I'll be able to demonstrate I have learned and the skills, developed the skills necessary to move on to the next class. I'm not going to feel insulted because somebody didn't come to my class every day. If you learn enough to move on to the next class, great. You don't do well in the class, but you do well on the final. You proved yourself, you can move on. Other people, however, are fantastic students. They show up all the time. They do all their homework. But they freak out a little bit when they take a test. And so they don't do as well. That's okay. They'll still pass as well. Okay? So the class grade gives you the opportunity to gives you more breathing room, more leeway on the final. By getting a great class grade, then you can do a little bit better on, you can I won't say relax on the final, but you can be more relaxed on the final because you have more room to play with. Okay? If, however, you got an F in the class, you have to have at least a B or better on the final. So, anybody with a B or better on the final will pass the class, no matter what they did in the course. Anybody with a B or better on the final will pass the class. Okay, that's my letter. That's the way I run Math 122. I'll be looking forward to seeing you in class.